As the world watches on with bated breath, the war between Ukraine and Russia rages on, with both sides bearing heavy losses. The conflict has seen Russian ground forces pushed to the brink, exhaustion is setting in, and reinforcements are few and far between. This, combined with a high number of combat ineffective battalions, paints a picture of an army stretched thin and under duress. On the other side of the front line, Ukrainian forces face their own challenges. Their air defenses, largely reliant on Soviet-era systems, are depleted, leaving them exposed to Russian air superiority. Despite this, their resolve remains unbroken, with more armored vehicles in the field than their Russian counterparts. The war, however, is far from over. Leaked U.S. documents suggest that it is unlikely to reach a conclusion this year. Both nations are gearing up for the next phase. Ukraine is preparing for a counteroffensive, while Russia is focused on holding its current territory and using aviation to counter Ukrainian advances. As it stands, both nations are preparing for the next phase of this enduring conflict. In this high-stakes chess game of war, every move matters. The Ukrainian forces are not sitting idle. They're preparing for an offensive. Much like a knight maneuvering for a strategic advantage, they're positioning their pieces for the next crucial move. But Russia, the rival king, is playing a defensive game, focusing on holding its current territory, steadfast like a castle. The battlefield is not without its casualties. Russian tanks and special forces have suffered significant losses, akin to losing important pieces in a chess game. But the game is far from over, and every loss could potentially turn into an opportunity. Meanwhile, Ukraine's defense appears vulnerable due to their reliance on Soviet-era air defenses. It's as if they're playing with a set of pawns against a fleet of rooks and queens. But let's not forget that even a pawn, under the right circumstances, can change the course of the game. Amidst the battlefield, a third player is subtly influencing the game. U.S. intelligence, like a grandmaster observing from the shadows, has penetrated Russian military communications. This could disrupt the opponent's plans, adding an extra layer of complexity to this already intricate game of strategy. In the midst of these tactical maneuvers, covert operations are also in play. Behind the scenes, the war is not just being fought on the ground. It's a global chess game with pieces moving across the board. Russia's maneuvers are telling. There are whispers of attempts to procure weapons from Egypt and Turkey, not through traditional channels, but via private military companies. A somewhat shadowy method, yet indicative of the urgency and desperation of the situation. And then, there's the dragon in the room. Speculations abound that China, a significant player on the world stage, might be secretly supplying lethal equipment to Russia. This conjecture, if true, adds another layer to the already complex geopolitical landscape. On the other side of the globe, the United States is not a silent observer. They've ramped up their involvement, extending additional security assistance to Ukraine. In a world where actions speak louder than words, the delivery of a Patriot air defense system to Ukraine sends a powerful message. As the war escalates, so too does the global involvement and intrigue. The unseen hands, manipulating the pawns and knights, are shaping the course of this conflict in ways unseen by the naked eye. Looking towards the horizon, the end seems uncertain, but hope remains. In the midst of the chaos, there are glimmers of potential resolution. From the heart of South America, Peruvian shamans have predicted a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine in this very year, an intriguing prediction indeed, and one that brings a unique perspective to our understanding of the conflict. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been making strides on the diplomatic front. During his historic visit to Washington, he presented a 10-point peace formula, a bold move, signaling his desire for a just peace. Yet the road to peace is never straightforward. His proposal, while ambitious, has not been without its critics, and the tension between global leaders is palpable. The consequences of Russia's invasion are far-reaching, extending beyond the borders of Ukraine and Russia. This conflict has become a global concern, a geopolitical chess game that has the potential to reshape the world as we know it. As the world watches, waits, and hopes, the resolution to this conflict lies shrouded in the mist of the future.